Hello friends, I'm Bob Ross. As you can see, we've left that dark old studio and we're outside. And today we're going to do something that I call the joy of wine tasting. Thank you so much for joining me. Now today we're going to be tasting wine. Wine tasting, like painting, is something that many people believe they can't do, but that is just not so. And I'm going to tell you today exactly how you do it, because anybody can be a wine taster. So let's get started. Today we are tasting a wine called Trousseau Noir from a winery named Forlorn Hope. Now that might sound like a little bit of a sad name, and I guess you could say that Matty Rorick is a little bit of a sad case. You see, this winemaker, he travels all over the state of California, finding the most obscure, forgotten, yes, and forlorn grape varieties that you've never heard of. I like to call him the crazy cat lady of wine, because that man has never met an obscure grape variety he hasn't loved and made into wine. And that's how you get the name Forlorn Hope. So Trousseau Noir is a grape that comes from the Savoie region of France, southeastern France. And there's a bit of it planted here in California. And Matty Rorick has made it into an absolutely beautiful little wine. Look at this color. Doesn't that color just make you happy? Looks like sunsets, or I don't know. Anyhow, so let's talk about wine tasting. It's really intimidating for a lot of people because they think they need to know something about wine in order to enjoy it. Only thing you need to know about wine, friends, is whether you like it or not. And I'm going to tell you how you can go about figuring that out. So let's start with the equipment first. As we do, we care about brushes and colors and paints and canvases. Well, with wine, there's the wine itself, and then of course there's the glass. Now there's all this hullabaloo about special glasses for special wines. You need a Cabernet glass for Cabernet and a Chardonnay glass for Chardonnay. I say that's hogwash. You need one good glass for wine. That glass needs to be a little more narrow at the top than it is wide at the bottom. And you need to fill it up not too much, just a little bit, right up to the widest point of the glass. That narrow part at the top traps all the aromas, so that when you give it those happy little swirls, all the aroma stays there in that glass. So let's give this one a swirl. Let's see the color. We stick our nose in the glass and see what it says to us. This wine smells to me like tea, like crab apples and wet leaves, like a fall day, perhaps, just after a rain. Now everybody gets worried about all the different words that you use to describe the way that wines taste and smell. Doesn't matter. You use whatever words make sense to you, even if it's just yum or yuck. When you put that wine in your mouth, I want you to really pay attention. I want you to pay attention not just to the way that it tastes, but the way that it feels. You see, wine is about texture too. It's about the feel of the wine on your mouth. Is it silky? Is it sandpapery? Does it go down easy? Is it big and bold and wide, or narrow and thin? That's what you need to pay attention to when you're tasting a wine. And of course, you need to decide whether you like it or not. This wine tastes to me of sunsets, wet leaves again, just like it smelled. There's a bit of peach jam and strawberry jam in there as well. It's just a very pretty little wine. It's not quite sure whether it wants to be a red wine or a rosé or a white wine, and that's the way that this grape is sometimes. But it's just a very pretty little wine. It makes me very happy. So as you're tasting wine, don't worry so much about the words. Don't worry about the glass. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks or says, because your taste is yours and yours alone. And only you get to decide whether a wine really moves you or not. Wine tasting, just like painting, is about finding your happiness. And I'm Bob Ross, here to tell you that anybody can be a wine taster. Love yourself, love each other, and love wine.